Hello, everybody. Ed Rosenberg, and this morning I am speaking to Elena from SellerEngine. Elena, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, and thank you for coming on. I always appreciate it. Because everyone's talking about, the rights owner complaints, invoices being not accepted. There are a lot of other suspensions which we have to deal with as well, unfortunately. So we're gonna.
Yeah, precisely. Okay, so lately Amazon has been focusing on lack of invoices and using drop shippers, and there's a bunch of common mistakes that people make to get suspended, and even with invoices, like people still don't pay attention to everything they need to, even with all the talking that's been going on. They don't. For one of the weirdest things they don't pay attention to is that they present Amazon with invoices that have an address which is not saved in their business account, but an address of a partner company, for instance. So they don't realize that the invoice must have their address. They don't check quantity and other things like that. But there's been a lot of talking about this, and people have good advice out there if they know how to find it, and a lot of companies helping them with that. Another common mistake would be that people use drop shippers a lot. They have no control over quality and safety, because the safety suspensions is a trend now. So they should definitely stop doing that. Commingled inventory is something that, again, a lot of people mention. And then there's bad product reviews. A common mistake is that they don't ask their buyers to write that the review is unbiased. And even multiple accounts, some people take the right way and ask for permission to sell on a multiple account, have two accounts on the same venue, but then they forget the rules that they read about, and then they end up selling not the same products but in the same category. And that's one of the rules that Amazon first tells you about, that you're not even allowed to sell in the same category on the second account that they allow you to sell on, So anyway, there's been a lot of talking about that, but there are guidelines out there, and a lot of companies posting blog posts, articles about it. So there's information out there. There's not much talking about less obvious suspension reasons, though, and I think that's an important aspect to discuss. So there's a lot of startup businesses that don't take the time to check the prohibited seller actions and activities section. It's amazing how many people don't read it, or how many people just read it but forget all about it in a matter of days. So they end up doing three elementary mistakes. One that I would want to get into would be that they create duplicate product pages. So what happens is that they don't do their proper research when they check the market for existing catalog pages for their products. Of course, the easiest way would be to check with UPC code, and there's a bunch of companies out there that can help you with such researches, and there's companies out there who can help you research by title. There's companies out there that can help you with your research. So you would put in just a few words from your product title, and they would give you a document with all the pages that match that product title, and you could go through them one by one and see if any of the pages is for your actual product when you don't know the UPC or you can't search by UPC. So it's, there's tools out there. Don't do the mistake of not there's tools out there. Don't research before you put your listings up, because Amazon will notify you of it, and eventually they will suspend you if you don't correct this this behavior in time. Yeah.
Okay, a couple of things from what you said, and I'm going to go back a little bit to I understand the address always has to match for the invoices. I would say 8 out of 10 times, maybe 7 out of 10 times, when people are getting inauthentics, they say the item really is authentic, here are the invoices, but in an abundance of caution, they remove the listing anyways. So
they do, yeah.
Right, so I would say most people end up doing that anyways.
Yes, they do.
Yes, if I have an invoice from an illegitimate source, like a liquidation place or some place that and I'm anyways telling Amazon that that it's illegitimate and I made a mistake and I was wrong, and from now on I'm going to only source from legitimate distributors and manufacturers, should I still send in the not good invoice, or should I just blow it up?
I would. I want to say you should, just as a proof that you're being upfront about everything. But I would definitely add in the appeal how you changed your business or sourcing model. I would add the list of suppliers that are reliable and trustworthy and that you plan on using from here onward. Even if you've done a mistake in the past, they gotta know that you're prepared to do something better in the future. So I would just attach it. If they don't consider it, then that's fine. But I want to be upfront and honest about what I did and what I'm going to do next.
I would agree. I would agree, because if you don't do that, then you're raising the suspicion that it's worse than inauthentic. Maybe it's counterfeit.
Precisely,
or stolen.
Even with the address mismatch. Let's say if the invoice is made for a partner company and not the company and the business address that you have saved in your Amazon account, you can still attach that. They can still use it, but you need to explain why the invoice is for that other company and what the business relationship is. Just be clear about everything, and they might just accept it. Yeah.
And the same thing goes with the name, because the name of the business and the Amazon screen.
Of course. Yes, of course. All the details in there. Yeah.
Okay, now I want to go on to the second thing you said. I understand the creating duplicate pages.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody else created the pages, is that my problem? Can I list it 5 times? I was under the impression that I can. Is that correct?
If somebody else creates a page that you already created for the same product?
Yeah, am I allowed to list against that? In other words, let's say I buy an item and I see Amazon doesn't know or doesn't care or whatever, and I see 5 listings for the same item. So I understand that the person who created it is wrong, can get a violation. But how about, can I tag along and list against it until Amazon catches on?
Well, what's likely to happen is for Amazon to merge ASINs eventually, and they do save the date when the page was created. So if you do get in trouble for such a thing, you can just tell them, okay, so check the date. I was the first one who created it. I'm not the one breaking the policy, but the other seller. So there's ways out of this, of course. Yeah.
Right, but I mean, I'm not sure if I don't think you get a violation. As far as I recall, they're just going to say that everyone was removed.
It's a notification going in your performance notification still, but it's not as dangerous as infringement or an inauthentic notification. But several of those can get you suspended for sure. Yeah.
Right. Go ahead.
Apart from the duplicate pages, which is, I want to say, less severe, you can do something worse. You can do what Amazon considers misusing the search and browse section or option in their search engine. So this is about keywords. When you create your pages and you fill in that template to upload your product, you can do various mistakes about the keywords that you're using. It starts from using too many. It goes into not using the logical order of words, but it can go deeper. It can refer to the spacing that you use or to misleading buyers in any way. So, for instance, we had a customer, a client who was suspended because he was listing, let's say, a Samsung product or a Philips product, and he mentioned another brand in the keywords because he thought, like, if a person is looking for Samsung, maybe they're gonna put another brand in there, and I want my product displayed. But you can't mention other brands in your keywords just to manipulate the searches and make your product show up on the page. Due to that, yeah.
Right. So it's keyword manipulation. It's called, I think, right?
Yes, keyword manipulation, and it's various other things that Amazon may mention. The fact that you're using irrelevant information, for instance. I mean, I know it sounds silly, but there's people who just fill up the space in there with everything that crosses their mind. And if you do that repeatedly, then Amazon is going to catch on it and send you a notification about it, and eventually get you suspended, like our client. Like it happened to our client.
Right. Okay. And what else have you been seeing besides the standard inauthentics and rights owner? What else is coming up?
Yeah, well, apart from these two, I also wanted to mention diverting transactions. So again, from the information that people read and forget about, there's clients who have been suspended for diverting transactions, specifically for sending buyers to their website. So let's say a buyer emails about some coasters that they liked, and they ask, "Do you have matching glasses or cups or whatever, you know?" And the seller just replies and is prompt about it, just, you know, keeps inside his reply inside the 24 hours and everything. But since the client is asking about a similar product or a product from the same category, they send them to their own website, and they don't see anything wrong with that, just because they forgot about the rule that Amazon mentioned, you know, don't divert transactions. If they were to give them the link to another Amazon page of their product, then that would have been fine. But otherwise, yeah, don't send them to your website. It's strictly prohibited, and there's a lot of details about this in the documentation. Just do what you need to do, especially if you're a startup business. Don't treat this lightly, because it can easily get you in trouble and get you suspended eventually. The only good news that we have with such particular suspension cases is that in I would say 99% of the cases, we get people reinstated easily, you know. So it's not like intellectual property right infringement or inauthentic or anything. They're more permissive, let's say, especially if you're a new business and don't have a lot of history, because it makes sense, you know, people don't properly read the regulation and policy, and it's sort of an honest mistake.
What happens if I've actually done it myself sometimes, like the signature, you know, the wrong template was chosen, and because if somebody emails me from the website, so then we use one signature, but if somebody emails from Amazon, obviously I can't like link to my Facebook page. What happens if I do it? If I send the link, I remember months ago that I did it. Just let it go, or contact Amazon?
Let it go if you don't do that repeatedly. Yeah, just know that you've done something wrong and don't repeat it. It won't happen. A suspension won't occur because of one or two isolated cases. Yeah, I've never seen that happen for such a thing. Yeah, at worst you can get a notification if you do it like maybe 3 or 4 times, but they're not gonna suspend you that easily. You know, you'll just explain that it was isolated, and that's it. Yeah.
Right. And okay, that's very interesting. How about calling up? Am I allowed to just say call me up, and they're not gonna?
Well, you can. They definitely give the option of doing customer support via phone, so I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with that. If you do mention your website on the phone, in theory nobody's gonna know. In practice, if the buyer does go to Amazon and you know tells them about it, you can get in trouble. But otherwise, I wouldn't say it's a problem. Yeah.
That probably never happened even once ever.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's
you
rare.
get suspended for that, you know.
Yeah.
You know, check your luck or whatever, you know.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. Just take this opportunity, especially for startup businesses. Pay attention to the rules and regulation. They're there for you guys. Just do your proper reading before you start selling on Amazon. Yeah, because there's a bunch of things that you're not going to be able to easily avoid anyway after you start selling. And there's going to be complaints that you're going to get and that you're going to have to address. So at least these things that you can easily prevent from the beginning, yeah, do it and stay away from suspension.
Right. That's what I say. You can't prevent 100%, but a 90% solution is better than a 0% solution.
Yeah, and I guess the if I were to move further along with this a bit, there's things you can do to prevent suspension even after you start selling, about the complaints and everything. So we don't have that report that everybody's been using with the imperfect orders report. Yeah, but you can make your own calculations. You know, you can keep records of the complaints that you get and monitor them. So you figure out when you get repetitive complaints on the same item. Give the item up if it's a problem problematic item regularly, you can even make predictions on your account health section, on your metrics there. If you monitor your cancellations, let's say, you're gonna know before Amazon updates the metric there that you're gonna get in trouble, and you can work around those, and with the proper software, if you have somebody who's at least knowledgeable in making some sort of graphs or even Excel files or whatever they can help you with, you can make predictions and know that something bad is going to happen before it happens.
Was there a reason why they got rid of the imperfect order report?
Not that we know of, no. It's just a lot more work for us to dig into the problems, and a lot more work for sellers to keep a good eye on their problems in their account and on their complaints. They didn't communicate why they took it out. We're hoping they're going to replace it with something else. We'll see. It remains to be seen.
Very, very strange. No announcement, no nothing. And if you remember, it went away slowly. Remember, we kept saying certain browser that doesn't work, and
right, and it didn't disappear for everybody at the same time, for sure. They did it progressively. Amazon making things hard for sellers, harder and harder.
why make it easy if you can make it difficult?
Precisely.
Okay, Elena, I really appreciate it. That was great.
Thank you for the invitation again.
And we'll be in touch as we always are. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ed. Bye.